Hello, my name's Mark Deary and I'm a filmmaker. I'm working on a documentary at the moment called Confessions of a Failed Filmmaker. I've been making movies for 20 years. I made my first feature film in the year 2005. And yeah, I've started a series of YouTube videos where I want to make 100 in 100 days, and I'm gonna, I guess, reflect on 20 years of filmmaking and the process and being an independent filmmaker and what that means. And yeah, I thought today it'd be interesting to talk about, I guess, burnout, but maybe not burnout so much as like taking a break, making sure you take a break. The reason I say this is yesterday I took a break. I didn't shoot a video, and that was intentional. In the morning I woke up and I kind of thought to myself, you know what, I think I need to take a break before I get too much of a streak. Because my personality type is the sort where kind of, once I get a streak going with something, I never want to break it. Like right now I've watched a movie every single day this year in 2025, and I've written in my journal every day this year. Like, I haven't broken the chain, I haven't had a day off even when I was sick. And so I really don't want this YouTube thing to become that. I'm excited about, talking about movies and making movies especially. And I guess just life now that I'm 43 years old. But yeah, I feel like it's the sort of thing, this is the sort of thing that you can burn out on easily. I mean, I've been watching YouTube quite a long time. I started my YouTube channel 16 years ago and have not really ever put videos up. It was kind of more of a means to an end to share work, and then I took the work down. But, and there's a few old videos if you go back and look. But yeah, I've watched YouTubers and I've seen people, crank a lot of content out and then burn out on it. And I mean, having made films for a really long time and worked on creative projects for a long time, I definitely know what the feeling of creative burnout feels like. So to prevent against that early, I decided I'm just going to take a day off, break the chain, just so I don't feel bad about it, just so it's something early on that I did and it was fine and it doesn't matter. And so I thought I could talk about that. It's funny because, so I worked in film for 11 years, mainly in TV advertising and corporate videos. And then for the last 10 years, I've worked as a teacher, almost 11 years as a teacher. And I'm currently on long service leave. That's why I'm making these videos, because I have time. And I've seen young people now who get burnout, I guess, just from life, like the anxiety of life. I'd never really had burnout. We recently, in 2022, at the end of 2022 to the start of 2023, we moved cities for my job to a smaller town. And I'd never had really burnout, like burnout, until getting here. And coming here, it was interesting. I won't go into a lot of detail about it, but it was a really interesting change. And this town has been, it's been brutal. I'll talk to you about that another day, because it's not like I've never moved to a city. I moved to London when I was in my early 20s. Candice, my wife, who makes my films with me, and we were going out before we were married, we moved to Melbourne together in late 2005. And we lived there for many years, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or something, on and off. And so I've been through moving somewhere, and that's probably another video topic, moving somewhere and then feeling, I guess, alone and isolated. But it was different this time around. Maybe it's because this time around we had kids and we moved with our kids. So we're about 8 hours away from our nearest family. No, that's not true. About 5 hours from our nearest family and 8 hours from the city we were living in before. And I don't know if this wind will be picking up or not, but we'll see how we go. So yeah, so it was hard. And so I don't know, I put a lot of pressure on myself. I don't know, I was very, very good. I won an award. I won a Teacher of the Year award for being a good media teacher while I'm still doing teaching, but yeah, and so I did pretty well in my old job in the city. But since moving here, it's been different. It's a bit thankless. I don't know. I'll go into that another day. I'm perfectly happy to share about it. It's just not really related to what I'm talking to you about today, which is just taking a break and trying to avoid burnout. But yeah, it kind of got worse and worse, and I'm glad I have this leave, because it's a chance to kind of chill and go back to my usual baseline, my usual self. But like I was saying, young people seem to have that burnout now. There's a lot of anxiety. I don't know if it's around screens, or I don't know if it's around just the world now, post-COVID, I'm not sure. And I've read books about it. A lot of other people have very firm opinions about it, but I have no definitive opinion, just that it's something that I've noticed more young people have anxiety and burnout symptoms, the high stress levels. And yeah, I mean, it's hard. And I talked about this in my second or third video about the idea of, like, you have space, right? So I don't know, I've been on leave for a week and a half, like almost 2 weeks. And wait, today's Saturday, so 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, I mean, yesterday I took the day off, but that was the first day off I'd taken. I always joked that before I became a teacher, I'd worked in film for 11 years and I never had a day off. Like when Candice went into labour with our first daughter, Lucy, back in 2011, she was literally editing jobs. Like, we got to get these jobs done before we go to the hospital. I keep editing. She's having contractions and she was editing, And, a day or two later, I was back shooting. And then when we had our second son, Sonny, Orson, we just call him Sonny. I remember literally the day we brought him home from the hospital, Candy was back editing. And I had to go to a shoot that afternoon, So it was like, we never, ever took a break. And I never had burnout. I love filming, like just doing these videos. This is what, my fifth, because the other day, yesterday, fifth video, sixth day. And I just love it. Like when I finish shooting, it's like I have more energy than I had beforehand. So I was never tired, never burned out. And maybe teaching, hitting that 10-year mark, well, it wasn't, it was at the 8-year mark when I switched to a school that wasn't particularly, I don't know, people weren't nice. I don't know, I'll go into that another day. But there was certainly a transition. And I had one other job when I worked in a law firm, I talked about that another day on this too, where it was just not, it was not good. Like I wasn't myself when I was doing it. And I think if you can see the signs of burnout, the signs of, high stress, it's up to you. Other people might notice it, but I think when you're on fire, you're kind of like, no, I'm going to keep going. Like I could have not broken the chain. Yes, I could have kept doing videos. Nobody would have noticed any differently. But I thought if I break the chain now, if you don't know about break the chain, it's a Jerry Steinfeld thing. Search it up. Somebody, he quoted once about it. He has like a calendar on his wall and he does a red cross every day that he would write a joke. And if he misses a joke, he doesn't get to put a cross through the calendar, and he tries not to break the chain. That's how he did comedy for 50 years. And so breaking the chain just means I did this in X amount of days in a row and then I didn't do it that day, so I broke the chain. And I think sometimes, it depends on the chain. Your thing, like I run a decent amount, that's the kind of fitness I do. I've been doing that for, 2 years or something. And on and off, I've been doing it for a long time. But I really enjoy running. But like for me, breaking the chain on that wouldn't be every day because I run every other day or like 3 days a week sort of thing. So it's like if I didn't run that week, maybe that'd be breaking the chain, I don't know. But you don't have to be rigid about it. But my point is, I think people don't know if you've broken a chain or not. They don't know if you're trying to maintain it. Like your friends and family can see if you're getting stressed. And they might say, well, you look stressed or you look tired or you've lost weight or whatever. But it's up to you to kind of go, okay, I'm hearing this from these people. And that's a whole topic for another video as well, actually, learning to listen. Because on film shoots especially, in my early days, like 20 years ago when I made my first film, you'd get into post-production. Because I kind of started as an editor. I did post-production in undergrad at uni. My bachelor's degree I did in multimedia, but digital video was one of my majors, like in post-production, visual effects and animation. And then I did my master's in film later where I learned more about the production side, but at that point we'd already made 2 indie feature films. And you get to editing and you're like, oh, look, somebody even said there's gear in shot. Like, why didn't you get it? Because somebody was like, hey, is that gear in shot? You're like, no, it's all good, and you keep filming. Instead of listening to that person who's less stressed than you are, seeing you, and they're just trying to help. They wouldn't say anything. Like, they probably sat there for 20 minutes before they said that they saw the gear in shot, and they're like, he's about to roll, and that gear is in shot. So, hey, is there gear in shot? And they're being nice. You're like, no, it's all good, you roll. Then you get to post-production, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to rotoscope this gear out of the shot for, it's whatever it is, 5-second shot, and you have to spend 3 hours rotoscoping the gear out of the shot when you could have just gone, oh, thank you. So after, like I said, I worked in film 11 years, and it was before that actually, because, I started doing films in 2003, whereas my first film was 2005. So, but working in, and the 11 years I think only starts 2007 when I was getting paid. I don't know the maths, do the maths another time, but basically, even when I was doing corporate stuff, I'd be on an ad shoot and I'd see the rushes and hear someone say, hey, is that, I don't think they had the hat on the last take. I'd be like, no, it's all good, because I just would get so in the zone and not listen. And then anyway, after enough years of doing this, I started to learn, everyone would say, hey, Deary. Like I said, my name's Mark Deary. I'm a filmmaker, but most people call me Deary. I don't know, it's just my last name, like John Deere Tractors, but you pronounce it Deary. It's not like a joke. They just pronounce it the way it's pronounced, Deary. And so, hey, Deary, is that something in shot? And I'll say, no. But eventually when I would hear someone say, hey, Deary, like, that they're coming forth after being silent, like whoever the crew person was. I'd be like, what? And I would stop everything and listen. And I think when it comes to burnout, I could talk about that more another day, but you get the idea, especially anyone who's made a film probably gets the idea that they should have listened when somebody else said something and you didn't because you were too busy being in the zone. Because, I was a director, you're thinking about 100 things at once. Whereas everybody else, if they're the sound person, they're listening to the sound. If they're the sound recorder, they're listening to the mix. If they're a production assistant, they're just waiting to get told what to do next, to move something or get someone a coffee or whatever, or be silent during a take. But when you're the director, you've got a lot of stuff in your head at once. And so you really need to learn to silence that because all these experts are there to help you. Everyone's on set to help you. No one wants to sabotage your film unless you're on a toxic set, and I'll absolutely talk about toxic sets another day because that is something I definitely have a very strong opinion about. And I've been burned on a number of times when you get the red flag and you just don't listen. But back to burnout, like I think it's the same thing. If someone says, hey, you're looking tired, or hey, you're looking worried, and you're like, no, I'm all good, I'm all good, no, I'm all good, I'll just get through this. You know, you move the goalpost for yourself, like, oh, once I get to that, I'll rest. Once I get to that, I'll rest. You know, once I get to my leave, I'll rest. And, you know, it'd been 2 weeks and I hadn't had one day where I just did nothing. And I still didn't do nothing, actually, on my day off. I helped Kenny with some book formatting stuff, but that was easy and relaxing. It only took 2 hours. It was still a day off for me because I didn't shoot this video. But yeah, I think burnout, man, it's a thing. And like I said, I've read a couple books about it, and I know that it's an epidemic in America, at least. I'm not sure about Australian statistics. I haven't read any Australian books about burnout. But I think taking time off, taking time for yourself, and really trying to protect it is important. Like yesterday, I watched a couple episodes of the show Dario. I got a box set of that a while back, so I've been watching that, and it's great. I'm loving it. And so I watched 2 episodes of that, and that's probably the height of my break, you know, was doing that. And I watched a movie with the kids, which was great. They'd never seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, so we watched that last night, and they all loved it, which was great. It's cool letting someone see something really good for the first time, you know. It was just so slick, which is not usually something I'm into, but it was just pure polish, that film. So yeah, they really enjoyed it. They were talking about it again this morning. So yeah, you know, it was a good day. It was a rest day. And I'll make 2 videos today to make up for it, and it's fine. But yeah, I think, I don't know, I could talk a long time, but my main thing I want to say is, yesterday I took a day off to look out for myself. And after many, many years, I've learned that people will say that you need help, but you've got to listen, and it's you who makes the decision to rest. So if you're really stressed right now, if your work's really stressful, like find a way, niche out a little bit of space for yourself and, you know, take a break, actually have a rest. And maybe I'll wrap up. The last idea will be something that, again, I said I'd talk about in an earlier video, and I'll talk about it now, is that when you take away some big project, so it's like I finished this project, or I, you know, don't have to do this, or I'm on my break. For people like me who, I guess, I don't know, I work hard, or I was a middle kid, so I defined myself as someone who can help and who can get things done. And a bit of a perfectionist. It's totally CPTSD related. I'll talk about that another day too. I've only learned about that in the last 12 months. But what you don't want to do is fill the gaps straight away. I read a great book last year called Do Nothing. And it was so great because it's just like, literally, do nothing. Don't stop the thing that's stressing you and fill another project in that space, which is sort of what I'm doing with these videos. But I'm going to try not to do it. And that's another reason I took the day off yesterday. It's like, these videos are fun. I have more energy after I've shot them than before. And if that keeps going, I'll keep going. I'll get my 100 videos done in 100 days like I said I was going to do at the very beginning. And I've got a lot of things to share. And I know that I can help a lot of people. And I want to find a community. To be honest, selfishly, I just want to find filmmakers. Like in Australia, but as well America and overseas. In England, I made some friends while I was working at Lionhead, and I really want to build an international community, you know, people I can film films with. I mean, this is just videos of me talking and sharing my knowledge, but, you know, I'll be making films. I'm working on a documentary, Confessions of a Failed Filmmaker, which I've never made a documentary, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, I'm working on a short film as well, and a web series with my kids. And I really want to go back to doing indie features. I mean, it's been since 2010 I released my last indie feature. That's 15 years. So I just can't wait to make another indie feature, and I want to get that done too. I don't know if it'll happen in the 100 days. It'll probably be after that I'll start a new whatever I do, and that's when I'll make the indie feature. Okay, that's it for today. If you are stressed, if you are feeling burnout, if you have high anxiety, listen to people and try to take a day off. There's my advice for the day. And in the comments, I'd love to hear what you think about stress. What do you do when you're feeling burnt out? What do you do when you feel stressed? Are you scared to break a chain? Have you never tried to make a chain where you track what you do every day? I don't know. Breaking the chains, I could do a whole video on that. Just keeping a chain of things to make things happen, like habit tracking. All right, I'm going to call it done. Great talking to you. I had a great day off yesterday. I feel fresh now. And now I'm going to go somewhere else and make a second video because I have to make up for the one I made yesterday, which I probably don't, but I'm going to so I can stay on track for my 100 videos. All right, everyone. I am looking forward to hearing from you all, and I'll see you in the next video.